How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Choujin X Volume 2. And this is a book that I thought was pretty fun. Kind of a wackier take on the X-Men. A bunch of people in the city have superpowers, and it's a very alternate take on history. And just to see the people in the school and how they treat this big change in their life. And overall, I think Volume 2 is really where it kind of hits its stride. In Volume 1, you had a whole bunch of kind of, not really body horror, but I don't understand what's going on. Why can't I get this bird mask off my face? And it was about going into the situation and having a bit of darkness and confusion. But now that he's meeting the school and he's meeting new friends and talking to other Choujin and seeing how this world works, and also spending more time with the other lead, they really do develop a good friendship here, and I can really see where this book is hitting its stride, and overall, like, it's definitely in its groove now. This volume also, amongst its 9 chapters, will have the 6-chapter Sinker arc about a Choujin who, before he was a Choujin, was a baseball player with this special sinker move. However, he got kicked out of sports when his powers came about, and now he misses baseball. He doesn't have anything to help him. His parents are gone, and he's taking care of his kids, and it's just someone, you can see that life suddenly got really hard for him, and his superpowers didn't help, at least not legally, and it's about one of their own going down a dark path, and how far will he go, and is there anything they can do to help him? I also like in this volume, in addition to being about, you know, the potential dangers of going into your adult life, they're out there, they're helping, they're trying to fight, but at the same time, they really do show how ill-prepared they are and how tough of a challenge this will be for them. Overall, it's really cool. Defining the superhero element a whole lot better, having our leads spend much more time with each other, and telling a really good story. This is a thicker manga volume, being over 200 pages long, but I read it really quick and quite enjoyed it. And I think Volume 4 just came out recently, so I'm going to have to dig into these really quick. Anyway, without further ado, if you guys want to see a little bit more of the story, I'm not going to do any major spoilers, but let's switch over to the close-up camera. I'll show you a little bit of the story and the art. So without further ado, to the close-up camera. Alright, here we are inside the castle, taking a closer look at Choujin X Volume 2. Now, our cover for Volume 1 featured one of our leads, so it's actually really good that Volume 2 we get a nice portrait of the other one. This is Ellie, the country girl who is trying to fight for a better life for herself, and she's got quite a bit of spunk behind her, and in turn is a really fun character. And with this portrait of her flying with the smoke coming out of her feet, like I said, the first volume seemed like it might be a horror volume or something with that dark and ominous mask. I think this one kind of gets the point of the series across better. And like last time, we get this version of the cover, but there's a step back when we open it with a little bit more of a pop version of the cover with these big bubbles in front of it, and the author, Sui Ishida there. Anyway, the spine will feature the blue X this time around, and the back will give us a bit of a summary. There's no previously on in this book, which I really wish they had done. You can use the back as a little bit of a refresher, though. Anyway, $14.99 US, rated T+, from Viz Signature. Anyway, crack the book open, and we get the biography of the author. We also get one of the color cover pages printed here. This is actually from later in the story, and where the cover fits in, you'll see the black and white version of it. But this is a really fun splash with most of the major characters on it, and overall, I really do like that we did get to see the color version here. It's pretty fun. Anyway, after that is the table of contents, and we'll see the chapters. Chapters 7 all the way through 15, and we'll note that 6 of these chapters are the sinker chapters, so we get a whole little plot arc there, and I really am glad, just the way this volume lines up, that we do get all of the plot arc, and then this one kind of has a bit of a rest afterwards, and it really is, I don't know if they wrote it to be split up into graphic novels this way, but this is a really good lineup for this story, you know, some build-up, a whole plot arc, and a bit of an epilogue. It breaks off at a really nice place. But anyway, we also do have some bonus features here. We get, you know, the soundtracks, we get a funny little comic talking about one of their abilities, and we will get some stats for a few of the characters, and some of these are sprinkled throughout the book as well. But after that, we get into the story proper. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and show you guys a bit of the story and the art. Anyway, yeah, no major spoilers, let's go. We open up with where we left off last time on that bit of a cliffhanger. The snake is attacking, they're up against the ropes, and Tukio is going into full beastification. And we get to see Tukio there with the full beastification form, and it is a really fun design with this bird head, and he's got like long exaggerated features. But I also like he goes in to fight, punches the snake, and realizes, okay, maybe I'm not just super strong. He really hurts his arm, and he's like, okay, I don't know what my powers are. But you see, he's like, I feel incredibly light, like I'm almost floating. He has bird-like powers. What can he do with that? Well, hard to figure out your powers in the moment, and a lot of this is a mad dash trying to get away from the snake and figuring out how to survive. It wraps up in a pretty interesting way, but a lot of what this book's about is afterwards. Here's him waking up, he's in a strange place. Turns out he's in the school for the Choujin, and he's going to have to register. So we get a bunch talking about the Choujin. He has to go through this program, which turns into a bit of a pain in the butt, but it's necessary to learn what to do when you have these powers. But they show, like, there's unregistered, which are basically illegal. They're not supposed to be using their powers. But then you get your Class B registration, and you can use your powers to defend yourself or others, but also on accident or if you need to discharge something, because, you know, not all Choujin have complete control. But Class A are basically you register to become a superhero, but that's super dangerous and most people don't want to do it, so they're going to be going for their Class B registration first. They're going to meet some of their teachers, and a lot of it will be sitting around and watching videos explaining what Choujin life is really like. There's a little cartoon man and the teacher just kind of sitting there looking at the video. But there are some other really interesting things in here as well. For example, as part of their test, the main guy is asking, what is your dreams? What do you want? And you'll get things like the little girl Ellie will say, I want money. You know, I'm just going to be honest with you. I want a better life, and a lot of that stuff I can buy with money. But he realizes he doesn't really have any goals or aspirations. Is there anything wrong with that? Well, he doesn't really want anything. But what does that mean for him? And what does it mean to float through life without a purpose, really? It is interesting. We do get also him making up with his friend from earlier. He, of course, does get the bird mask off, and he can walk around public now, and his friend's like, I'm so sorry I abandoned you, I didn't know what to do. And I do like, they have that moment to make up. I am kind of wondering where these two will go, because, you know, their lives are going to drift apart despite how close they were earlier. But most of the plot, that sinker arc, is going to be about this guy, and we find out that he is a baseball pitcher, well, was, and he played a game, and he has a special move called the sinker, which is where the ball dips a little lower at the last second. He thinks he's going to win, but that's when his Choujin powers activate, and there's a big hole in the field, a literal sinking, and that's what his powers do. He can sink things, but of course, when it's an accident, everybody's going to look at you like you're a monster. So he is falling into hard times. He has his younger brothers and sisters at home, and he has to support them financially, and the only way to do that, to join a gang and commit some robberies that the police think are done with a big drill. But how long until people realize that it's a Choujin doing these things? And you will also get where he uses his powers. He throws a coin that he's loaded with his powers, and that crushes this vending machine, and that will lead to these two going to school and accidentally seeing it, and he'll tell this story about, oh, I'm a Class A Choujin, and don't question what I do, it's all for this investigation. And I really do like how she's listening, but I don't think she's really buying it. And they'll investigate, they'll see, you know, that he's taking care of his family, and they're like, okay, we know he's lying, but how do we take care of this situation in a way that won't necessarily get him in trouble? But of course, things are going to turn on their head, and it's going to lead into an unintentionally big and epic battle that, I don't want to spoil too much for you, but there are certain things that are revealed about a Choujin, and it makes this whole situation at the end super dangerous, and it's going to be really hard to help this guy. But overall, a really cool volume, understanding where the baseball pitcher guy comes from, how the superpowers haven't been a good thing in his life, and how he doesn't really know how to handle them, and there's no support for him, and he's left alone. It's someone placed under great pressure. And they do have kind of a twist on the Spider-Man quote in here, where they talk about how great power has the great potential for chaos or something. But I also do like just the random bits of them running around the school and learning about who they are now, and it's pretty fun. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my manga playlist. If you guys want to see me talk about more books, I've talked about some of Chainsaw Man, some Junji Ito, and I also talked about the first volume of this book as well. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.